Hello, today I'll be demoing Sales and Service Cloud. For this demo today, I have set up a couple of personas that I'd like to review. Each persona will have its own unique piece of highlighting the services offered in both of the systems. So the first persona I'm going to start with today is that of a role called BDR. And what BDR really references to is like your inside salesperson, people that are handling leads, and also doing campaigns for you, so outreach to customers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in here as Sarah, who's our persona today. So Sarah Davis is the BDR role in our system. So as she comes in the morning, what you're going to see is a homepage that's been really tailored towards her skill set and tailored towards her business role. So in here, she can see converted leads, qualified leads, and any unassigned leads she has, any upcoming tasks. We'll see this actually build out over the course of our demo today. But more importantly, understand is that this has been offered by SAP as a personalization feature as well. So for example, if Sarah came in and goes, I don't like seeing it this way. I actually want it stacked this way, right? She can make those adjustments on the fly and they live there. Likewise, if she has any reports like down here that she can make herself, she could extend that here as well. So you're not limited based on the information you could display on this section here. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to use this left side here as a guide, if you would. And these are what we call work centers in the system. I'm going to use this as a guide to kind of walk us through the different areas of Sarah's day. So Sarah coming in, she'll go and check her calendar. This is an integration point with two of our application integrations. So we have a native integration. And what native integration really means is that this integration is just a plug and play. We literally put the piece into the system and it works. There is no added cost to this. It's completely what we call out of the box. And that term basically means it comes with your system. There's nothing extra hidden cost here at all. One of those you could see is the Google Maps integration. So here you can see it's picking up my geolocation. I'm located just outside Naperville, Illinois. And if Sarah comes in and wants to add different tasks or activities, she can do that all inside of this piece. And this can synchronize to the second part of the integration I was talking about, which is with the Outlook. So you could have your Outlook calendar and this calendar mirror up together and be the same. And this is a great tool to harmonize, if you would, your day-to-day activities and schedule. We do have the ability too to see others' calendars. So down here you could also see we have a Teams calendar piece as well that offers there. So this is great if you need to see across places, especially if you're assigning or dispatching anybody out in the service world. You'll have the ability to use this as well and be able to use both of these together to see who's available and who could help you with certain tasks. So continuing on with Sarah's day, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the bread and butter of what her actual position does. In this case, it's leads. So I'm going to go into a lead here, and I'm going to drop this arrow over here to give us more real estate on the UI here. So when she comes in here, a very common ask is, hey, I like to come to this table here, and I want to be able to quickly get to information. I want to know, for instance, how many leads do we have that are in the converted status? So clicking this interactive donut here, and is what we call the donut chart here, I could come in here and quickly get to that information. So I could quickly come in here and say, okay, show me all my converted leads. Or if I want to expand my horizons, I say, give me all qualified leads as well. And you can see these are interactive and they update the table down here based on my selections. And you can see how fast it's running these. You have no latency in the system, even as it grows with your business. So for today's demonstration purposes, I'm going to come down and we're going to take a look at a non-converted lead. So basically it's a lead down here. And so what one of her actual tasks are in her day, Sarah, that is to come in into what we call nurture a lead, right? So her primary focus being a BDR is to come in and make sure she fully vets out a lead and makes it qualified so that a sales rep could come in and actually mature this lead into the opportunity that it will grow into. And that's following an SAP's sales methodology and best practice, which is basically a lead will convert to an op, which will then convert to an order or to a quote. And that's that whole harmonized system that this approach gives you. So in here, she could come in, she could see any notes that were left. So we could see a Deet left a note here on 3-1. She could see if they selected any products. In this case, she's going to add a product. She just got on a conversation with Michael Turner and found out that he wants to purchase some AirPods from us. So she'll come in, she'll select that. She'll select how much quantity, in this case 1, and she'll hit add and save. Now she's done her purpose here of actually adding a particular product here. Now she would like to come in and as an activity, she wants to make a follow-up call to Michael to let him know that we are ready to advance now into the next stage of the deal. So again, this doesn't have to be your process flow. This is just for the purposes of demonstration today. I'm going to go ahead and put call Michael back. Okay. And she'll schedule this call for, we'll say tomorrow. Well, we don't want to bother him this late at night. We'll call him tomorrow at 9 a.m. and we'll see what Michael has to say about us progressing the deal. And so what's neat here is you'll see it actually converted this. It put this in here as a place point of an activity that they could actually see this. So where this actually gains a lot of its value is should Alex, who is currently the assigned sales rep, come in here, he could see, or she could see in this case, the activity that this has just been conducted by Sarah and see it's actually marked here, see that it's open and oh, she's going to call tomorrow on 3/21. She's going to call at 9 a.m. So it gives you that collaboration piece and also brings your sales team together as a whole to be a better selling unit. Another very important part of the lead object is when we integrate with third party marketing systems. So, for example, if you integrated with, let's say, HubSpot, that's a very common one in the marketplace, or something like Seamless AI, this piece over here is vital. What this will give you, and this is what I've seen over my course of my time in this system, is that let's say I'm getting a lot of leads from Seamless AI. Over the course of 3 months, I realized that I am getting in a lot of leads from a particular source that are going nowhere. They're not converting. They're literally coming into the system, and our reps are determining that they're just not qualified enough. They have to be declined. So what this has done in the past, and this has done for a number of my customers, is they have come in and seen that, okay, this one source is not giving us the offering that we expect. And so they actually cut that source out and go with a source that has a higher conversion rate. So it's a very powerful tool when you start utilizing all the analytics that are baked into the system. So Sarah's done her part for the day. She came in here and did this piece. Now, one piece we like to talk about is a sales campaign piece. So SAP Sales Cloud offers a marketing piece, and that's actually the sales campaign. And it works by basically setting up a target group. So, what is a target group? A target group is a segmentation of your customer base that you're trying to reach out to and engage in marketing pieces with. So for example, I'll click on one up here that has 53 members and I kind of walk you through how this piece actually works. So what it works is you come in and you'll determine members, right? So you could add a bunch of members you have here. The neat piece about this tool is that you could determine that group of people. So let's take an example of one together. So let's go and create a test group. We'll just call it test for today's purpose. We'll say test. And we don't want the determination. What's nice here about the member determination is that it keeps it dynamic. So let's say that I want to reach out to all of our leads that have never been converted. So these are just individuals that have never been converted or haven't had business in a long time with us, and I want that to stay current, right? So when you make a list like this, you have static and you have the dynamic part of it. So dynamic part is I want to engage in all of our customers that have not bought from us in 6 months. What this will do by selecting member determination, every time a customer fits that bill, so let's say they purchase from us at 5 months and 30 days, and then all of a sudden the next day rolls over at 6 months, they'll now be put in this list to be targeted for my target group. So it's a very powerful tool here as well. I'll leave it off for our purposes of the demonstration today. But in here, if I go to members, I hit add, and we'll just pick on contacts for right now. Let's say I want to engage in all of our contacts that are in the United States and that are in Illinois, right? So we'll keep it very, very simple here. You could see kind of how this could get very dynamic very quick, right? We could go from even zip code down to state postal code. I want to engage these people and make them a target group of mine. So we have a very, we could go really granular or could go really basic on these searches. So if you do something like this, it comes up and says, here is all of, and right now I'm displaying all 27 of these contacts that live currently in Illinois. So all I have to do is literally come down here, hit this and hit add selected contacts. And now what this has thus done is create a 27 member group, contact target group for me to send out my campaigns to. So what is a campaign? So we see how this has been made now for a target group. Now, what about if we want to engage and reach out to them? What do we get out of this piece, correct? So in here, I'll go to our campaign section here. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to look at one of the ones we've ran before and get an idea of what this actually provides you with. So in here, you'll get execution status details. So basically, how many people we contacted. In this case, 3 people. We had 3 customers. Unfortunately, 3 of them did not open these our outreach. And how you can look at what was sent is in this build section. This neat interactive wizard basically walks you through it. You select your target group. You select the newsletter. So in this case, we selected a newsletter that to be sent out, and we sent this out and we want to see who opened it, right? So in under execution details is where I was at first. You could see that information. And then what's more important here is the results and the respondents. Very powerful piece. So I could see that 3 did not respond. Any unsubscribers. So that's a big piece there as well. Let's say we did get some feedback and they said, "Hey, please do not contact us again. We're not interested in your services. Thank you very much." This is a way that you could allow them to unsubscribe from any further contact through these campaigns. The results piece is another powerful matrix. Now, in here, we track things such as total number of clicks, how many hard bounces. So, how many of these people did we reach out to that had us in a junk or spam folder, right? All this information comes into the system. And more importantly, what to understand here again is this is an out of box offering. So this is something that if you're looking for a slow rollout, you don't have to have day one. But if you choose to turn it on, it's there for your utilization. It's no extra charge. It's just there in the system. So again, in our BDR demonstration and our persona here, this would be one of Sarah's main jobs of the day is to conduct these outreach sales campaigns. So now what I like to do is talk about how do you handle a mass number of leads. So Sarah being in the lead department here as a BDR, let's say she gets a large number of business cards, or she goes on to a convention and meets a lot of people, and they all sign up for flyers and they want to be part of this mailing group, right? How do you get that information in? How do you get those leads in, right? So in here, underneath the data workbench, this is a very powerful tool. What this allows you to do is anywhere that we refer to what we call as tables. So let's just say here's a table, right? And inside of that is information, right? All of that could be updated and you could actually create from there as well using the data workbench. So basically how it works is you'll come in here and let's say for the purposes of doing an insert, right? Taking a list of leads and inserting all those lists, whether it be 500,000 or 500 or 5, I don't want to come in and have to go to sales, right? And then have to click through this and keep clicking and making and making and making. So that's the answer here is this. You'd come into the import, you'd select the object. So in this case, we want to insert, and then you would select the template you want. So in this case, let's just say we did lead, for example, right? You would select lead and then literally walk you through adding that template into the system. And the neat piece here is that it works on in Excel. So basically in Excel, you will have these packages to where you could upload your pieces right into the system. So if I take, for example, an employee one here, so let's say I'm on a mass, we just required a new company and we want to put all of our employees in, and there's 800 of them, right? This is basically that same template. So this is going to load up and I'll drag it over here and kind of show what it looks like. It's a simple Excel, and you just put your information in and you send this into the system and it automatically creates those objects for you. And again, this is across all objects, counts, contacts, leads, everything. And then also up here, I'd like to point your attention to, we do have a tie-in for SAP here as well. This is another native piece that is an integration. So in here, you basically could select these and then hit upsert, and it'll literally select from here and push into the system. So there's not even a need. You don't even have to, if you don't want to use the data workbench, you could just use this as well to do those inserts, and mass data updates is another important piece as well. So let's say, for example, a very common one. Let's say one of our reps, and I'll go to a customer here just for simplicity purposes here. I'll go in and let's say a deet, right? So A D in our system, he is a system owner of 19 accounts. Now, I could go to each account and update it manually, or I could use the Excel add-on like we were just looking at, or I could use the data workbench and update all these accounts. So let's say a D leaves, he goes on to better pastures or retires. You could update all of his accounts in one shot using both of those two methods that I just displayed a minute ago. Okay. So what I like to do now is we saw Sarah's day. So Sarah prepped up a good lead. She did some nurturing. She looked at some sales campaigns. She made some updates. Let's talk about the sales portion of the system. And so in here, I'm going to log in now with Lexi, who is our sales rep. So Lexi's dashboard is a little bit different when she logs in. She like to see selling matrices. She wants to see her closing rate, for example. How much money does she have in her pipeline? How much has she forecasted through the end of the quarter, right? This is pertinent sales information. And again, just like we stated in the previous example with Sarah, this is all configurable. You just pick the different matrices you want to see, and it's a plug and play solution to get those visible onto the screen here. If I click on calendar, I want to highlight one area here. We do have this integration that we looked at for Google, right? But we also have an integration with Maps as well. So, for example, we could see that there was a prospect dinner that happened at 3 o'clock, and then she was due to go to O'Hare to fly out to Denver, right? So that part is integrated into the system. So she has her mobile app, which we'll see later in the demonstration. She could use her mobile app to actually go from point A to point B, all using that inside this calendar piece here as well. So for Lexi, she's really interested in getting sales. That's her primary goal right now. Is I got a couple of activities I got to do. Right, we know my flight to Denver is at 9 o'clock tonight, and I got a couple other analysis pieces I got to add into the system that are coming up due tomorrow. So what Lexi's going to do for the day, she's going to come in and click on My Opportunities. Now this automatically pulls her right to all of her opportunities in the system, and there's one opportunity in particular that she really needs to get focused on, and that's 601. So she's going to come in and she's going to get into this particular opportunity. Now, upon coming in here, again, same thing. She'll see notes right up here in front. So there's no loss of collaboration. She'll look at the products that she has selected on this particular opportunity. And then she'll look at, she has a sales documents, which is great. And we'll come to this here in a second, which is a quotation that she made for this customer. But what I'd like to kind of drive our attention to now is the sales activities. Now, this piece here, Activity Advisor, is a very powerful tool inside the system. What this is a guiding hand to help guide your sales team to better closures. So, for example, let's say every time we go to close a deal, we want our reps to do these 5 things. These 5 things we have to have them do before we could start the closure process of an opportunity or a deal. If you're familiar with that terminology, this allows that to happen. So let's look at, for example, I'm in the decision phase, or Lexi is, right? So let's go ahead and back this to the qualifying stage here, right? So I'll take this, we'll pop back a little bit and we'll go to qualify. You'll see up here I'm prompted already. Before I even hit saved, I was prompted with there's 6 mandatory sales phase opportunity. I'm missing these 6 steps, right? That's referring to these 6 steps here. And what this allows you really to do is allows you to be focused on the better practices and selling you want your team to focus on. To give a kind of an industry example, I had a company that I was working with in Dallas that had a problem where they were finding that during their sales cycle they had a very big dip between qualifying and delivering what in their cases was a demo. Come to find that a lot of times their reps were skipping past a vital piece of information, and that was basically obtaining a credit check with the customer. So by the time they actually got in there, unfortunately, some of the customers that they didn't vet couldn't afford the solutions that they were providing and demoing to them. So key pieces like that, and the thing that's great with this system is that the more you put in, the more you get out. So how they found out was, hey, we're really doing great in identify, qualifying, we're falling off a cliff. Why is that? And they were able to determine, oh, we're not doing best practices and we're not enforcing those. So this is a big piece here. If the company they determine does not need it, maybe it's a feature that's hey, it's great to have, just not now. We'll maybe roll it out later, or maybe when we grow into it, we'll try using it. That's not a problem. It's not a needed thing. You can literally close this out, and then you're left with is the normal activities. So all the ones we saw inside the lead will be here as well. So Lexi, part of her day, she'll come in and she's going to select these. She's a good sales rep. She wants to get her commission on that. So she'll hit add. And now this will create automatically for her. So now you can see we went to 9 of 9 for these and it's updated. Now I no longer have that warning bar telling me that I'm not in compliance. So with that, Lexi is checking her emails and all of a sudden she gets an email for a demo request. So I'll go down here and I want to point out a couple examples here. So we could see Megan Ryan, and what I'll do is I'll log in to kind of show how this works. Basically, in here, Lexi will log in with the same information that she used to log on in the CRM, same user and password. What she gets out of this is, and I'll hit no to this, she will get this side piece here with settings to have her contacts synchronized if she wanted to. Likewise, her calendar if she wants to. SAP and Microsoft leave this up to the user to make the determination if they want their information shared into the platform. But to get back to the piece here, what happened with Lexi, she sees she has this and she knows that Megan Ryan is part of Smith Corp. How does she know that? Well, the system checks the email and notices that Megan Ryan does exist in our system, and she's a contact for Smith Corp. Now let's look at a junk email, for example. So Petco, right? Does not exist in the system. It's not there. Same thing with Menards. Menards is not there as well. So you'll see there's no information holding it to it. This you could see is actually there. Megan's actually existing here. So what she could do, Lexi says, okay, this looks like a great opportunity here. I'll actually associate, I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag and drop and associate this email with this opportunity. Now, what might be the reason for that? Well, let's say Lexi gets sick. She takes an extended leave. This email now lives with her. This lives with her and lives with the email server. Nobody else, if they're not CC'd in it, knows that this exists. So this is very important collaboration piece that now if I wanted to, and this is going to launch me into Edge, that's just because it's just my default browser. This would go to Chrome if it was your default browser. We could even see as I'm talking, it loaded up very fast. In here, if you were to go into the sales documents, this is the same thing. It's an opportunity, just like we were looking at. And I go into sales activities, you'll see that that email is now here. So there it is and it was sent and who it's sent by. So Megan sent this, and all these pieces are in there. So you can see how this part would be a great benefit. Now, if Lexi is sick, whoever comes in this op can go, oh, okay, I can see there was an email here. It looks like she's looking for a demo. That information can live in here and be a great collaborative piece. And so you're not really working in a silo with this information being stranded. So in here as well is I could surf and see if there's any leads, any opportunities we have currently with Megan. But let's say I get a call from somebody while I'm sitting here and I want to check on their account. So let's say Big City Electronics called me. I could type in big, hit enter, and now I could click on that account, and now it's going to pull me to those account details. See all the activities we have for Big City Electronics, all the opportunities, any leads that we have for them, all this information now I can look at while I'm discussing what's going on, maybe even replying back to Megan. So, a very powerful piece here to allow this to connect back and forth. We all know sales reps love to live in Outlook, and SAP took that on notice and said, hey, they're going to live in Outlook. Let's provide them with an extension so they can live in Outlook, but also leverage the powerful CRM as well. A couple of features I'd like to point out as well. We did talk about the calendars and how they synchronize. So if I go to calendar, you'll notice that my pieces are still here. This all came over from the system. And then one other piece I like to talk about as well is the feed. So the feed keeps you current in what's going on in the system. So I could see all the stuff that's been going on. I could see, Sarah went and did a lead update and she converted that lead for us. All these pieces. Let's say I noticed, for example, let's go back to Sarah. I see Sarah convert a lead. And I want to say, hey, do you need any help, Sarah? So I could come in here and literally do the at symbol and type in Sarah's name and say, hey, do you need help? Right? I could send that to her. And what's going to happen now is she will get a bell icon up here will pop up with a number, and she'll click on that and be able to come in here and actually respond back out to me from there. So again, it's a olive branch that allows you to live inside Outlook, but still interact and work inside the CRM as well. Shelf is areas that you could actually favorite or follow different items that you're really interested in. So in this case, Lexi has selected here. But if I go back and say, well, I think I want to follow, let's say a lead, for example, one of her leads, I could come in here, find, and this goes across everything. It's also in accounts as well. Let's say Keystone Grill, for example. They're a premier customer, and I want to find Lexi wants to follow them. She'll come up here, hit that star, and then now if I go back into Outlook, refresh, you'll see that that's there now. And again, the same functionality works. I could drag and drop emails and synchronize and push them into there as well. So now I'm going to head back into the CRM here. So Lexi's day, she's went in, she's got a lead that she's currently cooking up and working through. She did a sales quote. So in here we integrate with all other ERP solutions. So if they have if they have an API, we can integrate with them. Um, in here, she also put down that product we were looking at in the beginning. So here's the product, here's the price. We do offer price specific books as well. So if you have, customer specific and you want to get those price books in there, we do that as well. We have the offering here of $4.12 for each one of these units, and she's buying 2,500 units, and that's the net value price there with a 10% discount. So what's nice here is we do offer another integration with DocuSign. So if an e-signature is preferred, we have that. And all that is this configuration and setup. If you want to do a wet signature, and I'll just show you kind of what that looks like, she would hit preview here. Now, Lexi is set up for e-signature, so you won't see the signature block, but it will be at the bottom of this page here. So basically, you'll see it breaks down how much your prices were, and at the bottom here would be a signer, a signature block if she was set up for wet signature. And then you'll see your company logo will actually be up here as well. We do offer approval processes. So if Lexi was to come in and maybe offer let's say she's allowed to offer from $1 to $10, that's fine. Anything over $10, 10% discount, she needs to go get a manager's approval. We could have that all set up that is all native functionings inside the system. And that's offered also at the opportunity level as well. You even see there's approval piece here that you could submit for approval for certain thresholds that you determine in the system. Okay, so we took a look at the sales rep. We looked at Sarah, and then we at the BDR. Then we looked at the sales rep. Now, one area I want to drive our attention to now is the sales manager, right? So, Lexi's manager in this case is Emily. So I'll log in as Emily. Okay. So Emily's focus of the day is she wants to see how her team is doing, right? So she'll come in, and what we're going to do is we're going to stop at analysis here. So important note here is that the system offers over 184 out of the box reports. But if you don't find any of those reports that suit your needs, it's absolutely feasible to do any custom report you want in the system. That is no extra charge for that as well. I'll click on sales performance dashboard here. And what a dashboard is, before I give you a picture of that, is that these are multiple reports that are shown. So in this case, we have sales rep by revenue one here, right? So I could see Emily could see that Lexi's killing it. She's at 44 million. James he's there. He's 37 million. He's catching up. But more importantly, what's in their pipeline, right? What are they getting ready to land pretty soon? So I could see 11 million here, and James is still coming up back there a little bit, about 8 million. So this gives you analytics driven. Again, these are just out of the box offerings, but there's plenty of other ones you could select from. You could quickly, let's say she looks at this and goes, that's a great bar chart. I don't really care. You go click table, and it'll show you the table information as well. Effectiveness scorecard. Again, this is another one where Lexi could, Emily could come in, and she could see what she's looking at in regards to per month, what our average deal was. So how much we were averaging, how many deals we had, how many we converted, right? So more importantly, the win rate. She could see the win rate and how much her deal average was and how much total revenue was won per month. This could go per month, per quarter, per week, even per day if you want to get crazy. It has all those functionalities in there as well. So that was great seeing a little bit of the performance piece, but what about, am I hitting my targets, right? Is Lexi's team, or Lexi and the rest of the team, hitting the targets that Emily has set up for them? So in here underneath the favorites, I'll go and click on sales targets, and this is actually a report. You could see that, for example, we take February here, we had a target amount of 7.5 million. Unfortunately, the team fell short. They came in around 2.8 million. So they were short of that actual target amount. Then you can look at months like April, where we had a 7.5 million and the team destroyed it, 11 million. They went way above that and exceeded. Important thing here is that our targets don't have to be dollar amount. They could also be product based as well. So maybe if we take an example of a car salesman, I want you to get rid of 5,000 Tahoes every month for the year. You could come in here and see, did we get rid of those, right? Were those listed on opportunities? Did they get out of our inventory? Very powerful piece here, and that can work just the same way as well as dollar values. You could do as regards to um, products as well. So that was a little bit of how the system could actually work. I am fully capable of actually showing a full-fledged demonstration of the different sales mechanisms. Before I end the call today, what I would like to do is I would like to show you our customer management piece. This is basically the lifeline, if you would, of a CRM, right? So what I'll do is I'm going to log in as Parker here. So John Parker is our account specialist, we'll call him today. And so what John's really reported is he doesn't do much sales, doesn't care about sales, doesn't care about leads. He cares about customer health. Are we engaging our customers enough? Are we selling and are is the customers happy, right? All those are very important parts of the system. So he's gonna go to Smith Corp because that's actually one of the big clients for them. And he'll click on this. And now what he's gonna see is all the information. So we see account notes up to date, any appointments over the life cycle of this customer, any tasks that have been, any phone calls that have happened, any emails, right? Opportunities, leads, very important information to gauge customer health. Another important stop would be the charts. So in charts, we can see, what is their average sales cycle? Are they having a hard time closing deals with us? Bigger one, trend revenue. They're buying really heavy in Q3, Q4 not so much, right? Are they projecting up or downwards? These are very key matrices to John's performance job here, where he actually wants to see the different fluctuations in these accounts and are they healthy. So this piece here, again, it allows the account to be a one-stop shop to maintain all that information. So one piece I like to leave us on here is that we talked a lot today about the sales piece, and I'll be following up this demonstration with a service part. But one thing I want to really kind of close out the conversation with is sales and service both live in one environment. So what does this give you? It gives you, there's not a detached or siloed process in your company. You could actually bring all these together. So what I did was I actually logged in as me, as a system admin. And down here, you can see what I'm referring to. The service module lives right here, right with the sales stuff that we were just looking at. So on our next conversation, I'll demonstrate the service cloud, which actually lives inside of the same system that we were looking at today. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to talking to you. If you have any questions, please reach out to anyone at Team ASAR, and we'll get back to you and schedule that demo. Thank you.